Yeah. Basically, that's what's going on. Okay, we're good. We're Gucci. And welcome to the first Almost Legal Podcast live show. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a good venture. I got a lot of feedback with this. I'm joined today with my co-host, Chris Emmerke.
What's up? What's up?
How we all doing?
Hey, we're good, man. We're good. And again, the beauty of this is our first go at live, so we may have some kinks to work out, but I think everything's going to work out smoother than you think.
Get over it. I lost a lot of sleep over this.
Over it.
I've been in the doghouse a little bit because I've been a little obsessive, but it is what it is.
It is. It is. Beautiful thing is you know we've been wanting to do this for quite some time now. Our opportunities to be live, here we are. I hope everybody listening is ready to get involved with the program. Again, you know, we're going to take some call-ins shortly. We're going to start. We have a little bit of a format we're going to run on today. So, Josh, if you want to lead us off.
All right, we'll start off with the headlines and news from this week. A lot of them are local source here. A rolling meth lab in the Alabaster Walmart.
Walmart. Welcome to Walmart.
And a navigator. And apparently the culprits were in Walmart trying to beg people to buy them Sudafed.
Let's buy it all there and let's manufacture it right there in the parking lot.
It's like they were watching Breaking Bad, taking notes, high on meth, and like were scribbling crap down, and they were like, "All right, it says drive to place with not a lot of people." Is that a lot of people?
A lot of people.
Let's go do meth in Walmart parking lot in Alabaster, Alabama.
So have you pulled up to a Walmart before and just looked across the top of the building?
It's like 47 cameras.
Right, I was wondering, has anybody other than me counted the number of cameras?
How many of those do you think is actual?
You know, I wonder about that. You know, it's interesting, but, you know, hopefully a lot of them are live.
Yeah, probably. But I forgot what source was this. They were talking about how cameras are, most of them are just dummy cameras.
Funny story, many years ago, and again, I say many years ago, I was in my early 20s.
A coon's age.
A whole coon's age ago. I worked for a company, and the whole premises of the company was to sell cameras to mom-and-pop stores, but the cool part about it was that none of them were live. The interesting part about it was they were actually there to curb interior theft rather than the outside.
Well, that's where your
money loss is.
Right.
You know,
They have
even with a
direct
company
access.
like Walmart.
Right.
You know, crazy though. We're gonna a rolling meth lab in a Walmart parking lot. I mean, what are you thinking? You're going in to buy the product to make the material. Okay, we're gonna have an explosive opportunity in the back of our vehicle.
What's the best case scenario in that situation?
Right. And who are your clients? The girls in the front selling Girl Scout cookies.
Right. They're out there selling meth.
Right.
Can I get some Thin Mints and a bag?
Yeah. Hey, let me get a 20.
I don't know what increments you sell meth in, but
right.
No, the second topic is it's not as lighthearted. Chelsea woman Cherie Lemoyne was diagnosed with ALS 2015 or 2017 May of 2017.
And I hope you don't mind if I go here with you. And this is something that's close to home for you, right?
Yes.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
Oh, I thought you were going to expand.
About their relationship.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a family member. And if you're not familiar with ALS, it's short for some long medical term. It's often referred, the Lou Gehrig's
Lou Gehrig's disease,
yeah.
Correct.
It's
debilitating.
Yeah, it attacks your brain, your spinal cord. You're basically a prisoner trapped in your body. Like, you're all there mentally, but you can't, your body won't. Well, since May, I can barely understand her. And it's kind of like when the episode we just recorded, when it comes to, I don't know if you've seen Dallas Buyers Club.
Right.
Where what's the medical people? Whoever regulates the medicine, they choose what they want to pass and what they want to don't. Well, anyway, she's been turned down 3 separate times by Blue Cross Blue Shield for her a treatment that's proven to reduce the effects by 33%. Well, two times, and like hers is really aggressive. Like I said, I can barely understand her. The last time, you know what the excuse was? She's too far along.
Too far along.
They have drug it out and denied her 2 separate times.
You know, it's kind of funny because, and I say it's funny, it's really not. But, you know, what gets me about the insurance companies is they want to play like, you know, when you're talking to them about signing up for a policy or whatever, you know, they're your best friends at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
They need your money.
And again, it is about the money. You know, in a prime example, I'm a heart patient. For many years, I've been on the same medications, and then all of the sudden, 4 or 5 years into the process, I get a notification from my insurance company that they're not going to cover a particular medication. And what gets me about this is these are medications that are either life-saving medications or life-altering medications as far as quality of life is concerned. Now, if I understand correctly on this particular issue, aren't these medications something that would, and I understand, I'm not sure that it's 100% cure, but isn't it something that would literally change her life beyond measure?
Or at least allow her to, well, at this point, it's, you know, it's prolonged. Like, she would actually maybe, her daughter's pregnant. She would have been able to maybe hold her or, like, enjoy it. It's a shame.
Right.
You know?
It's a quality of life issue.
Right. It's they're okay to take your money, but...
You know, and again, this is something, I did a little research on my own, and there's an interesting article out. Washington Times actually reported today about a very similar case where the particular individual that was looking to have this life-altering medication done was denied the whole process, just like you said. Mm-hmm. You know, the sad part about this is that in there's particular states out there, okay, and there's 4 or 5 states out there that actually this is legal. Instead of, you know, offering an opportunity to, you know, if the drug costs $4,000, $5,000 a month, they said, you know what, we can't cover this drug, but here's what we are willing to do, okay? And this is the sad part about it, okay? They've offered what they call assisted suicide.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. This is ridiculous. Okay.
That's the cheapest in the long run.
$50.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't have to deal with you anymore.
Absolutely.
It's sad.
And again, if this is where we're going in society, okay, there is a major issue to solve here.
Oh, major issue. There's a bunch of issues jumping up, which comes into the next topic. The shooting.
Oh. Parkland
shooting.
You know, and again, you know, and this may be one of those cases, you know, because, and if anybody, how can anybody not be familiar with the Parkland shooting at this point? You know, this is a situation where the guy went in, a 19-year-old guy, took an assault rifle into a school. You know, he guns down people left and right. You know, after all the stuff comes out of the woodwork about the guy's mental problems, you know, all the stuff that he'd already been through. And again, it kind of makes you wonder, you know, on the same topic, you know, was it because insurance didn't cover something? You know, he wasn't getting the treatment that was necessary, you know, but at the same time, you know, and this is something we're going to continue on to discuss a little bit further, you know, you have to ask yourself, you know, is it really a gun issue? Is it a mental issue? And again, you know, and I'm going to throw something a little personal out there myself. You know, when I was in my early 20s, my mom was in a condition where she needed some help, and fortunately in the state of Alabama, and I'm not sure it works this way everywhere, but when somebody, you know, there's a limited number of days that the insurance will cover you,
right,
for whether it be a mental issue or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, you know, 60, 90 days, hey, we're done, we're not getting our money up, you're done, you're out.
Right.
You know,
what kills me is when they come and say, like, because they want to push the guns, and like, it's so quick. Like, at least give them a day without bringing up policies and stuff. And then they want to, because they're so focused on that one thing, like it's guns, it's guns, it's guns. They didn't have any issue. If you perform a mass shooting, you have a mental health issue,
right?
Like you're not right in the head if you're willing to kill X amount of people. It's ridiculous.
You know, and this is something I did a little look at recent shootings and mass killings and all, and we're talking about everything, and we'll expand on this a little bit earlier. You know, we have the Parkland shooting, we had the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting, we had the Las Vegas shooting. You know, and all these issues. You know, if you look at what, you know, and in most cases, there was already pre-established issues with a mental capacity problem.
Right.
Okay. With the only one that we really don't know about was the Las Vegas shooting. Okay. So
know nothing about.
Again, that's something that we really don't know a whole lot about. But I think that's something we need to look into. You know, and I think that's the crazy part of when you're talking about the fact that it's a business.
Right.
Okay. But at the same time, you know, human interest has to be a part of that.
Yeah. What's the point? What are they there for?
Right. And insurance is one of those things that we have to have that we hope we never have to use.
Right.
Okay. Whether it's medical insurance, you know, automobile insurance or something like that. You know, it's also one of those things now that if you don't have it and something happens, then you've got serious issues.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so to understand the process of how the company works, and again, like I said, you know, it is a business. So obviously money is a factor. You know, there's got to be a point, you know, and this is, you know, how are you, if you're an insurance agent?
You probably get numb to it, but I don't know. It's a damn shame.
It's a desensitized world we live in now.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But we're going to get into, obviously, what all mainstream news wants us to be talking about is guns. And before we do that, please enjoy this video from Freedom Tunes. They're a wonderful source of it's a satirical cartoon. People go follow their channel. They're great, and we'll be back right after that.
Guns, the loud killer. Or why you should support gun control and why the only people who don't want restrictions on the Second Amendment are child-killing right-wing bigots.
Look, I believe just as much as the next guy in protecting our children, but gun restrictions have proven to be ineffective. In the words of Ben Franklin, those who would trade safety for liberty deserve neither and will lose both.
Ben Franklin was a brainwashed NRA bigot. Plus, if the Founding Fathers were so smart, how come they're dead? Gun violence, that's why. Did you hear about the most recent mass shooting? Let me stand on graves and manipulate your emotions for a moment. The shooting was done with an AR-15, also known as the ghost gun. Called that because it turns people ghosts. The AR-15 ghost gun has a 2 trillion round clip, fires 500,000 bullets per microsecond, and if you think that's bad, you haven't even heard about the bullet button. One press of that sucker and you unlock the cheat code for unlimited ammo and invincibility. Even worse, free AR-15s are being distributed with every pre-order of Call of Duty, and AR-15 ghost guns are being delivered to mental health facilities by the NRA as part of their Kill Children program.
The preceding information may be entirely untrue.
We need to do something about automatic weaponry.
Actually, fully automatic weapons are illegal and have been illegal for many years, and most crime isn't committed with AR-15s, it's handguns.
Plus, violent crime has been decreasing for years.
And almost all of gun violence is the product of gang violence in leftist-run cities. The likelihood of actually being killed in a mass shooting is extremely low.
Extremely low? Have you not heard there were 355 mass shootings in the U.S. this year?
355? That's ludicrous. Who would believe that?
Well, NPR, PBS, HuffPo, Fox, Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, and CBS believe it. Where did they get this information? From Reddit, so you know it's trustworthy.
The info came from a subreddit which was turned into a website called MassShootingTracker.org.
Take a look at these terrible shootings. Oh, and almost half of them, not a single person died. It's almost like they weren't actually mass shootings. Wow, it looks like America has the safest mass shootings in the world. In fact, our mass shootings are so safe that we're willing to call 3 or more people being shot with a BB gun a mass shooting. Unless there have been 14 trillion mass shootings in the last half hour. Have to be that way. Look at Australia. Australia's a land where everything is trying to kill you. Except guns, of course, because they got rid of them. Huzzah for Australia, a country which saw a plummet in violence after its gun ban. Ignore the fact that this is a continuing trend in which gun violence in Australia was decreasing at an identical rate before guns were banned. And seriously, who needs an AR-15 for hunting? Or self-defense? A simple handgun works. You don't need a ghost gun.
Well, actually, the AR-15 is one of the most popular hunting rifles, and they're great for home defense, too. Not only that,
that, but inner-city shop owners especially need AR-15s to protect their stores and families in case of riots when journalists irresponsibly rile up racial tensions.
Ugh, it's justified outrage. Get over it.
Look, not only are you losing the arguments on home defense and hunting, but even if you weren't, the Second Amendment isn't about those things. It's about the ability to rebel against tyranny.
That's paranoid and insane. The government will never become tyrannical.
What do you think of Donald Trump?
He's literally Hitler. He wants to put Muslims and women in FEMA camps. The Constitution was talking about the militia, by the way, not the people. And militia translates to government military.
No, it doesn't. The people are the militia. And why would any government need to give itself the right to own guns in a founding document?
I'm done with this conversation, you right-wing, pro-NRA, anti-child, anti-woman, death-loving bigot. You may have been these pro-violence hate, but I have enough faith in the public to trust that they will believe the objective and logical truths I propose. Guns are icky. The government was giving itself the right to own guns with the Second Amendment. AR-15s are useless for home defense and hunting, but are also the most dangerous and effective killing machines ever created. Governments never become tyrannical. Trump is Hitler, and if he wins, our government will become tyrannical. And if by some stretch you're able to poke holes in any of these airtight arguments, get ready for me to fall back on this. The Constitution is a living document, which means it says whatever I want it to say. The NRA disagrees. They think the Constitution is dead. Why? Because they shot it, that's why. But it survived. The question is, will our children survive?
Alrighty. On the internet, so we're kind of streaming the stream, if that makes any sense. So bear with me.
Kinks and bugs. We're good.
So the number is 205-381023. But right now we're going to be covering the 5 myths about the AR-15, the common myths. The first one is AR-15 stands for assault rifle.
Obviously, if you've done any research at all, you know that's not the case. To begin with, you know, it's a brand. You know, it's Armalite.
Armalite, yeah.
Okay, Armalite. And what a lot of people don't understand about the AR-15 is that it's basically the civilian answer to the military M18. Okay,
right.
It was actually designed to be a lighter, more usable firearm.
Dumbed down version.
Basically a dumbed down version that pretty much anybody could operate. Interesting thing is it's actually, in some markets, it's actually marketed towards younger people, the kids out there, as a target shooting and a hunting weapon. You know, the interesting thing about the AR-15 is one is its effectiveness at distance, okay? It's an effective rifle at about 600 yards. That's a pretty good distance to cover, let's be honest. Unfortunately, the assault weapon was basically banned in 1994 by Bill Clinton.
Right.
Those bans and all expired in 2004. To the point, and as soon as the ban took place, and even after the shooting, the amount of purchases made was an absolutely stunning number. There's approximately 1.3 million purchases on an AR-15 every year in this country. That's a lot of guns.
That is ridiculous.
That's an amazing amount of guns. You know, and again, there's a lot of people are super quick to jump out there and say, "Hey, let's ban all guns." You know, and don't misunderstand this. You know, I'm not a gun owner. Do I believe in a ban of all guns? Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not.
All right, let's get to the second one. The weapon of choice for mass shootings, when actually the weapon of choice for mass shootings is handguns. Like, hey, I have no idea the amount. It's way, like, maybe triple the amount of handguns are used.
Agreed. I agree with that. But, you know, as far as the research that I've done, The problem that we're having today is the general conception of the American public. But if you understand, you know, when you're talking mass shootings, we're talking about 4 or 5. Sure.
But the third myth is it can shoot 700 rounds a minute, which is ridiculous. It's semi-automatic. It's no different than a semi-automatic shotgun, pistol. As fast as you pull, the bullet's going to come out. Like, it's nothing. There's no specialty to it. The fourth one is the fully auto is extra good at killing people, which it's not. Your accuracy with a fully automatic weapon is extremely compromised when it comes to, I guess, killing people.
Just based on recoil alone.
Yeah.
Right? And again, I'm not a gun expert or anything like that. Is it my understanding that the AR-15 has something that's similar to a bump stock? That it actually has a recoil, like a...
It's built in the gun, but it's not really.
Right. But does it allow for a quicker, more aggressive rate of fire?
No, not really.
So it's ultimately as fast as you could pull the trigger.
Fast as you pull the trigger, a bullet will come out.
Gotcha. So it's still considered a semi-automatic weapon.
It's a semi-automatic weapon. And that's when they were having that staged town hall event with CNN and all them. He was talking about any gun that can fire 300 rounds or 150 rounds in 6-7 minutes. I wanted a gun. I'm like, what? That's like 3 bullets a minute. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And again, referring to the Vegas shooting, you know, you and I both have friends that are military people, and and the amount of rounds that were fired, okay, some of them say that it's virtually impossible physically to fire the number of rounds that were supposedly fired with a semi-automatic weapon.
Well, he had bump stocks, but I've yet to see visual proof of the.
Have you ever shot a weapon with a bump stock?
No, I almost bought one a long time ago. I wish I would have.
Right, collector's item.
Well, yeah, it was like maybe $100 back then, but now I could only assume.
What do you figure they are now?
Hell, I don't even know.
It's got to be ridiculous.
You know how the market goes. Oh, they're about to ban them.
Right.
They're $500 a piece, man. I don't know why I became country, but
you know, I guess one of the things though is it's interesting, and I've never quite understood this. You know, there's an age limit and a 3-day wait in most states on buying a pistol.
Right. I actually got corrected. I originally thought, because this is where when I was buying a gun a long time ago, they had pistols for sale, and they're like, oh, you got to be 21, and any pistol grip weapon, right, you had to be 21. I thought that was just a law, but apparently that was a store rule.
Store policies.
Yeah, so I was like, there's no way he bought it legally. You got to be 21 to buy a pistol grip weapon. So I was like, but apparently it was just a place.
I guess it's interesting to me, though, that, you know, and I'm trying to figure out in my head what the mentality is if you have to be 21 to buy a pistol.
An age change, obviously, I think,
is a necessity.
Yes, that's completely necessary. You know, because you think about 18-year-old people, like they're irresponsible. We've all been there. Now,
I don't know. It's kind of like the alcohol laws, okay? And I don't know if it's the same way in every state now, but I know here in Alabama, you got to be 21 to buy liquor, beer, wine, whatever.
That's everywhere. Okay. Louisiana was the last place to change.
I remember there was a day, like even in Mississippi, where it was 18 for beer and wine, and then you had to be 21 for liquor, okay? Now, there's a reason that they changed that law.
Well, your brain doesn't develop.
Okay. How is the same argument not there for buying a rifle versus buying a pistol? And again, we're not out there deer hunting with pistols, okay? And I think the mentality probably is that most of the...
Any different of a car than what it was before.
But don't you look scarier?
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, and that's what I see. That's half the mentality is, you know, anything that looks scary, okay? And again, this is the world we live in today. You know, if it looks scary, let's get rid of it.
Exactly.
So, you know, and again, and I'll be honest with you, what's interesting to me is that I saw a thing today talking about the fact that I believe it's Dick's Sporting Goods is no longer going to sell assault rifles.
Which I didn't know they did.
Right? I mean,
All the
to
ones
me,
around
is that
here,
a thing? I'm used to going to Dick's to buy like a batting helmet or some tennis shoes.
Right.
Or a fishing pole.
Well, the one down 280 has a terrible gun selection. They
Well,
have a
it gets
few
me-
rifles,
so if-
shotguns, and like...
So if they're selling just Walmart?
no.
Well, I know they have a gun counter at most Walmarts.
Well, that's just 22s.
22s.
And
okay.
you can't purchase weapons with ammo
Okay,
because
so
of that
there's
woman
a-
that shot somebody.
Okay, but isn't it? And I know that like there's gun dealers. Like we have a local one here that's up in Vestavia where they actually, it's like Mark's
Outdoors,
okay,
yeah.
where you can buy pretty much what you have, anything. And there's another one. There's a couple in Hoover.
When you get a FFL or whatever, that's the private ones.
Right. Well, what's interesting to me though is that how does what's the so obviously this kid or any kid can walk in at 18 years old to go into a Dick's Sporting Goods store and walk out the same day if you've got the money to slap on the counter with an AR-15 rifle?
Yeah, I don't. Knowing my mental state at 18,
right?
Like, I'm not against that at all. The one thing I don't understand, and it's the bleeding heart Second Amendment people that say, when they say, okay, why do you need AR-15? They say, because my government has it, I want it, just in case, a tyrant government. But when it boils down to it, that doesn't matter. Yeah, they have it, but they have a lot more. So your little AR-15 won't matter if they're legitimately trying to kill you or whatever they need to do.
Right, but on the flip side of that, when it will matter is, okay, and again, this is a different world we live in today. You say we'll never be, our American soil will never be invaded. Okay, guess what? It has been.
Oh yeah, from the inside.
And not just that, even from the outside. Okay, can you imagine? And this is just my mentality on the process. Let's just assume for a minute that they do pass a law that says, hey, you know what? You got to come and you got to turn in all your weapons. First of all,
a mandatory buyback program.
Right. Okay. We've seen how that works in the past. Okay. You know what? We're going to forget about everything you've done if you just bring your guns and turn them in. But at the same time, on that note, if America turns in their guns and we lock them all up or destroy them or whatever,
it'll never happen.
But if it did, okay,
it would.
How quick do you think some other country is going to say, hey, you know what? It's like a gun-free zone. What does that tell the criminal mind? This is my safe place to go in with a gun.
Well, that's where all the shootings happen.
Right.
I saw this meme thing. I don't know what the heck they're called. I'm not socially inclined, but it was like arming your teachers, and it showed a pistol, and it's like arming librarians, pistol with a silencer.
Right. Right, with a silencer. That's great. But I think that's the crazy thing to me. That's the mentality is, and I think that's where the system's failed to begin with. And I think that's one of those things to me is like when you go, this is a gun-free zone. Okay. It's like saying, you know what, I'll tell you what we're going to do. And I know you've seen the other meme that says that it's these thug guys and they have all these weapons and this and that. I said, oh yeah, they've illegalized it now. Let's all go turn in our guns.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Who's going to do that?
Like when Cat Williams, he was in his stand-up, he was talking about when he got pulled over and arrested because none of the guns were registered to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not."
So that way it's traceable,
right? And that's where it comes in. Criminals are going to get guns.
Criminals are going to be criminals no matter what.
And I know it's like a broken record. Y'all have heard it all, but it's the truth. Like I said, you're never going to get the guns from people. Quit trying. I understand regulations. Bump the age up. I'm not even against, this might be because I already have one, so it won't really affect me. Right. But if they bump the class level of an AR-15, maybe up to where it's harder to get.
Sure. And to me, it's the same mentality. Let's make drugs illegal. That way nobody will do it. During Prohibition, let's illegalize alcohol. Nobody's going to be drinking. Let's make sure that, let's make a law against driving drunk, so nobody's going to do that.
Right.
I mean, to me, sadly enough, the laws. If you change everything, it only affects the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I'm saying, and I think that's the biggest. And again, I don't know that I don't have the solution for the problem. Okay.
Right.
But I mean, do I agree that there needs to be some changes in the way things are handled? Absolutely. do I think that the answer to it is just taking everything away from everybody? Absolutely not.
It's not the issue. Like I said, everyone wants to make it a left-right argument when it should it's directly in the middle.
Just makes me it makes me beside myself is the fact that both sides, I don't care what side of the fence you're on, agree that there's an issue.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but we can't put our pettiness away to try to solve the issue. And again, you and I, we're going to have a little bit of discussion on this. It's like we're going to go out there and make it everything's got to be a political agenda. We're going to go out there and the Hogg kid, because is a prime example.
Right, David Hogg.
David Hogg. Okay, the first thing that came out was that he seemed, and if anybody saw the interviews when they first came out, it seemed a little canned, like he had been schooled on what to say. Right. He didn't seem sincere.
Well, not just him. Yeah, I've met and I know a lot of 18-year-olds.
Right.
And none of them are as...
They're clueless.
Yeah, and none of them are as informed as a two-term senator and are just knowledgeable about amendment rights and stuff.
And I think that's the thing that kind of got me is that, they expected to, and unfortunately, they jumped out, right after this. They went and they marched on the legislature in Florida. They went to the White House to have the, that was a really, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, but the question and answer session that the president did with everybody that was out there was really kind of I like the idea because it allowed them the opportunity to come out. But again, like you said, so many of the young people don't understand the process and what's involved in changing those laws. It's not like we can just stand up and say, hey, you know what? We want this, make it happen. It's not happening. Our system doesn't work that way. Okay. The other thing to me, and like you said, when you look at it, like it seems like there was an agenda, a lobbyist situation, everybody said, we're not going to go to school, okay, until something's changed. Right here in our local town, do you know of anybody who missed school that next day?
Not even a clue. That's what I meant by I know 18-year-olds. They probably know, oh, there was a shooting, and
right,
and that was the end of their, right. Yeah, it's probably a connection. Yeah, if, I assume people are trying to call, it might be the connection. I apologize. I'm trying not to show it on my face on how pissed I am right now.
We're gonna get we're gonna get all this stuff ironed out. That's what
the connection will be fixed by next week. Mark my words. I didn't run a hard line and I need to do it.
So we'll make that happen. Let's get back.
Hey, we didn't introduce Ricky.
Let's do that for just
our
a second.
producer.
Let's do that tonight, okay? We decided this tonight was our first opportunity to go live, and I was fortunate to walk into our studio today, and Josh had talked to me a little bit earlier today and said, hey, man, we got a guy that might help us out doing a little producing for us. And I was like, okay, it sounds like a good idea. Let's talk about it. So I roll into the studio today, and I'm standing in with Josh, and Josh says, well, just walk on into the studio. No, I asked whose car that was parked outside in my parking spot, okay? And he said, why don't you go on into the studio and introduce yourself? You may know this cat.
He's my producer. He's our producer.
He said, that's our producer's car. Why don't you go on and walk into the studio? And let's you'll probably recognize him. So walk in, and my goodness gracious, it can make sure that we have a positive experience for everybody out there. But we are super stoked to have Ricky on board. Gonna be making a way.
He's nodding right now. He doesn't have a live right now.
We're gonna get him mic'd though, because not only is he gonna be a fantastic producer for us, I think he's got I think he's got something to say too. So we're excited to have him on board. Again, a lot of you local people that know us, know Ricky. He's a local guy, making his way in Atlanta, but he's also not so big that he can't come back and help out the little guy. You know what I'm saying? Glad to have you on board, Ricky. But anyway, let's get back to
and about this week's episode, and we'll understand. Okay, back to the topic. Go ahead.
So we're back to talking about the idea of, there's a couple of bullet points we need to talk about as far as about the Hogg guy. First thing he did, and I don't know if everybody's aware of this or not, but, and again, supposedly, during the actual shooting, okay, this cat whipped out his phone and started making a video, okay, interviewing his friends, okay, during the shooting about gun laws and things that need to change, okay. Absolutely.
Like during the actual...
Actually, during the shooting, okay, he decided, okay, this is an opportunity for me to push my agenda, okay? Now I don't know about you guys, okay?
Also, while you're at it, buy my mixtape.
Right, okay? But I don't know about you guys, but, you know, where's your brain, okay, if you're in the middle of a shooting that's going on in your building, okay? Here's what we're going to do. All right, everybody, we're doing this, okay? Let's talk about it.
Well, that's life. People don't go to events and actually enjoy it through their own eyes.
They got their phones out.
They're looking at the event through a screen.
Prime example, the cat at the Super Bowl with Justin Timberlake.
Oh, right.
Okay? The little guy, okay?
I like all the memes saying, Googling who's Justin Timberlake.
Justin, okay? You know, but that's crazy to think to me, you know, the last thing I'm worried about is my phone, unless there's some way to stick it over my chest and protect me from getting hit by a bullet when I'm here and, you know, people are firing guns and this and that. The second thing was that immediately people questioned whether he was what they call a crisis actor. Okay? You know, first, we do know that his dad was ex-FBI.
Right.
Okay.
And his mom works for CNN.
Okay, you can make of that what you want to, okay? But if you don't feel like there's an agenda behind both of that...
Well, the way I look at it, like I said earlier, I was like, at least give him time to, like, grieve. The bullets haven't even finished landing, and they're pushing a narrative. And I was like, come on. It's kind of like when you see in those movies where it's like a rich great-grandma dies and the family comes together. Like everyone, the people that don't really come to family events, and they come, and they're like, well, now that we're on it, where's the money kind of deal?
And again, and I'm not crediting the guy for what he's maybe trying to accomplish or believe or something like that, but you know,
you see him too much.
Well, and we're talking about it. What is he? 16, 17 years old.
Well, rumor has it he's already graduated, but that could just be a conspiracy.
The Hog Kid.
Yeah, they said he graduated last year.
So the first thing people jump out and start talking about this conspiracy theory, okay? But his comment on all of that was that he believes that the conspiracy they've actually helped his case, okay? The crazy part about this is here's a kid that before the day before this happened, we had Noter. He has 250,000 Twitter followers.
That. Okay? Well, you couldn't turn on the TV without seeing him.
Right? Okay? But to me, you know, it's kind of sad where we've become with social media and such, okay? The whole thing is it really about his agenda, or is it about how many Twitter followers does he have?
That's a pretty big deal.
It seems to be. Okay? But, you know, but to me it's kind of interesting. You know, the other thing that I think is interesting that he's jumping out there on is his newest thing is everybody boycott the state of Florida for your spring break.
Where are they going to go?
Well,
Nantucket.
It's not, and to me, it's not that. And don't misunderstand. I highly doubt. Okay, you're 16 years old. Spring break's rolling around. Your parents have reservations at the hotel on the beach. Okay, what 16-year-old is going to go? Mom, Dad, I'm not going.
I'd be one of them.
Would you really?
Yeah, because.
But you don't like the beach?
No, we just never went to beach.
Right?
Well, no, like I wasn't, I guess, I wouldn't say privileged. My parents worked, so I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I think the idea, and again, I want you to think about this. This is a 16 to 17-year-old kid, okay? Mm-hmm. Where do you truly believe the mentality? So his idea of boycotting Florida, the state of Florida for spring break is that if they won't listen to us as a collective group of young people.
Bankrupt them.
Absolutely. He thinks he's going to hit them in the pockets, okay?
My home state.
Right? Okay? Let's destroy where I'm living,
The majority of y'all's income, shut that crap down.
Right? Okay?
Kavish.
That's like wishing bad on the pilot of the plane that you're flying.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, don't you know?
Right? Okay.
It makes sense.
We're all going down in flames.
Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, to me, I guess the problem I have with that is the idea of wanting to change something, you know, as far as the gun laws are concerned and all that. But, you know, what kid in his head says, you know what, let's economically impact a state? Somebody had to help him along in this process.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
No, he's a big picture kind of guy. He saw it as soon as he heard a bullet. He's like, okay, gun rights.
And the other thing that gets to me is and again, and I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before, school actually started back in Parkland. He says, okay, he's not returning to school till some laws are changed.
Sweet. I bet you he gets
Isn't
excused
that breaking
for
the
everything.
law, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what about the guy who...
It's a truancy issue.
Yeah. Or what about the guy who sawed his AR-15 in half? That's one less AR-15 on the street.
One.
Now it's extremely an illegal gun.
Right.
I know it's mainly because of the sawed-off shotgun, but still, law's the law.
Right. Okay. And again, we're talking about 1.3 million purchases per year.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, and don't get me wrong, I believe, if you look back way back and through history, the young people have made a huge difference. The biggest difference that I can recall was young people making the difference was during the Vietnam War. Okay. Where the youth of this country stepped up and said, hey, this is not, you had two sides then too, okay? You had the people who were all about it and the people who were totally against it.
That's where because it was started with the paper company, but that's where was it Nixon?
Yes.
That's when Nixon, he looked at it as with the civil rights movement and hippie protester people,
Sure.
What did they have in common? They smoked marijuana.
And we all had long hair.
Right. So what he did was crack down on marijuana arrests to try to lower the numbers, and that's how it started, FYI.
All right, we ban guns, we ban assault rifles.
That'll be a civil war.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I want you to think about the process that would occur here. All right, let's say, all right, we do, all right, the government says we're going to ban assault rifles, okay? Now tell me about the logistics and the process that's involved in confiscating those guns.
How many people would bury their gun somewhere? I don't know where I sold it. I lost it. I sold it. I'd do it.
Where are you burying yours? That's what I was about to ask you.
I don't even give a shit. I'm not even that crazy, but I would do it. I'd get arrested for doing it.
How would you like to be the guy that's going door to door?
Imagine someone like, the vet we know.
Right.
That for a fact has made close to a couple I would say million, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He has 5 sections of
who's going to go take
bullet
them from
reloading?
him?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at him. Okay. First, and this is the thing to me. We've got criminals out there. Can you imagine? Like I said, you're knocking on that door. Hey, we're the gun control people. We're here to confiscate your guns.
Right, while they're armed.
Right. Okay. So now they're just going to go. You know what? They said we had to turn in our guns here.
Yeah. No issue. Have a great day, sir.
Passing the law isn't even an answer
It's
to
not
the problem.
I love how when people that are pushing it, they treat all the and of course there's no way to go with it because one side is one side and the other side is the other side, like I said. But they go the Fox 6 watchers and they treat them like the gun owners like they're dumb. They don't understand the Second Amendment.
Because they're hillbillies and rednecks, okay, out there hunting deer.
But when it boils down to concealed carry permit people and pistol permit people are probably the most educated on the Second Amendment. And they treat them like they're idiots. They're like, it's meant for a militia, which is like a military. No, it's not. Militia. George Washington had to fight those militia.
Right.
If it wasn't meant for the people to right to bear arms, what's the easiest way for him to stop those militias?
That's one of the first
Take their guns away. But he didn't.
Okay, and it's one of the first things, okay, when you start talking about with what the country was founded on, okay, that was one of the absolute first things, and it was for a reason. It's and at the time, it was actually very similar to what happened during the Cold War, okay? The idea was that if everybody had weapons of mass destruction, nobody would use them, okay? I think that was the original idea, is that if everybody was armed, okay, it's an example. There was a study done not too long ago. The interesting point about how it works. Did you know that the country of Honduras, okay, 0 guns are allowed, okay? They have the highest crime rate and murder rate in the world, okay? The country of Switzerland, everybody is required to own a gun, okay? The lowest crime rate. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. The numbers, it's all about the quality of people.
And again,
no matter how many guns, no matter how many guns you have, if the quality of the morality of the people and how they were raised the numbers are going to change. The strictest gun laws are in Chicago, and
look at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it is what it is. We can go back and forth forever, and it just boils down to guns aren't the issue; it's the people.
Well, a couple of days after the shooting, there was, and I don't remember whether it was China or Japan, there was a knifing incident where somebody went in and
Those
knifed
are
a
always
bunch
more
of people.
deadly. It really
Right?
confuses me.
Right?
I just picture a ninja with a samurai sword
Me
or
too.
something.
And I'm thinking to myself, how, if nobody's firing a weapon at me, okay, if 16 of us rush the guy with the knife, one of us gets shivved,
Right?
okay, and he's done. I mean, to me, it's like that. It's like that same principle of how things work when somebody has a weapon or starts going crazy on an airplane. Do you see how fast nowadays those people are taken down?
Where?
On an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, somebody gets out of line all of a sudden after 9/11.
They're drug out.
I mean, it's instantaneous, and they are on the
Can't
floor.
even master.
Right, right. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, you know, what we've come to in this whole gun issue. And again, I think this is a topic. They have 8.5 million subscribers. This is a man and his daughter who do videos depicting abusive situations, like
Yes, that's the same
causing
genre.
pain to his kids, and
that's that weird Pizzagate pedophilia.
and it's driven towards kids too. Now I have
You
heard.
have you seen the comments on those and how demonic and messed up?
Mine. Well,
There's an app for that.
We built We built tree houses. Yeah, you can go home and there's a show on called Treehouse Masters.
Yeah.
Okay, watch them build tree houses.
Honestly, before Ricky produced,
Still available if you look.
Right, there's other sources.
And look, I'm not the technical genius out there, okay, but I do consider myself kind of web savvy. Can somebody tell me a little bit about, you know, what exactly is the dark web?
Dark web is okay. The dark web is demonized in America, but it's almost bad reasons.
Human trafficking. See, this is what you hear.
That's what we hear. But say countries where homosexuals get murdered.
Okay.
That's a place where they can get a what is that? Onion? I forget what it's called. It's basically a thing where it bounces your IP around.
Okay.
And they can't track you.
So it's untraceable, basically.
It's untraceable.
So how are there, I mean, obviously, you know, we know that, you know, way back when there's what they call the WC3, which is the World Wide Web Consortium, which is supposedly the governing body for the internet. It's a world, but there's really no way to govern it, okay? So is there, like how, I guess my question is when you're talking about the dark web, you know, you hear all this illegal stuff going on, how, is there not, I mean, how do these people get away with this and not get in trouble with the law?
You get lucky, basically, because the government or governments do have made an effort to try to shut down the illegalness by making like dummy accounts, fake things.
Gotcha.
So, which right there will deter you from doing certain things. But there's everything from hiring assassins, fake weapons, torture videos, watching people get tortured live.
That's insane. Why would somebody want to do that?
It's just some messed up demonic stuff, man.
You know, it's funny though because you mentioned about how difficult it is to. So what I think we need to do, okay, as we play this game along, okay, is we're going to have to kind of do a cumulative score.
Okay.
For however many we get right. So we have to decide at some point who is going to. Who has the most points at the end of X number of rounds?
Okay, so we go, and then until we get one wrong, and then we flip.
And then we'll flip. Okay,
and
until I get wrong. Right. Okay, and we may have to go back and forth a little bit. All right, so what we're going to do to start, Maroon 5 was actually searched roughly 823,000 months.
I'm a ninja, dude.
Okay,
I'm psychic, bro.
He's a fruit ninja all on his own. All right, now if Maroon 5 was searched 823,000 times a month, okay, the next topic is Star Trek. More or less than 803. Okay, he's already gotten 3 correct. Oh, I'm not so sure about that yet. Okay, he's already gotten 3 correct, and the average correct is 3. So if you get this next one right, you're actually above board and above average.
Damn it! What? That's spoke too soon.
So if Star Trek is 1.2 to the kicker, okay, the next search term, Starbucks.
More.
Says more than 1.2 million. You are not going to believe the numbers on this. How could this many?
Easy. Google search where the nearest one is.
9.1 million searches.
Jesus.
A month
I hate Starbucks.
on Starbucks, right? Okay. So now he's above average at 4. All right. The next search term is Egypt. The country, we're looking at 5.
Dude,
okay?
I'm a freaking wizard,
Now,
man.
now you say you're a wizard, okay? That's roughly 1 million searches a month for Egypt, all right? Now we're going to throw in a little wrench, okay? The next topic is Greece. The country Greece.
Then what was
Higher
the
or
last
lower
one?
than Egypt at 1 million searches a month.
More.
We're going with more. It's less.
Dang it.
It's less at only 600,000 searches
I
a
just
month.
figured more people travel there, so
You would think so, but for the first round right there, you got a score of 5, which is all right. Snaps for Josh. All
there
right,
a button I
Josh.
push?
There is a
Self-explanatory.
It says new game right there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and it's going to tell you what you need to know.
Okay, new game.
The new game.
Round 1.
And by the way,
5-0 here.
we're playing for the Tar Heels here.
Oh, yeah. We'll play 3 rounds. All right. Queen Victoria has 823,000 average monthly searches versus microwave meals.
Oh my gosh,
Higher or lower?
microwave meals. I'm going higher. I've already lost.
It had 5,400 views.
My goodness gracious, nobody cares about microwave meals
I guess
anymore.
not. What?
It's just Destin. You know I can't stand to wear that dark blue
I
color.
know. I'm excited. I get to pick your outfit.
That's such a big fat zero
I
to
might break
start
out
with.
face paint. Face paint, man. He's gonna be the biggest Duke. What are the Blue Devils?
No, I'll never be a Blue Devils fan.
Oh, I
may
can't
have to don
wait.
the attire,
I can't
but-
wait. We gotta get plenty of pictures.
Yeah, okay.
Feed it to me. Feed it to me.
Right.
Can I put this away?
My father would have thought I was wearing a Duke jersey.
Oh, he's going to.
Goodness gracious.
You're going
All
down.
right, round two. I'm down 5-0, by the way, which
know.
doesn't make me feel. The term eating disorders has 135,000 average searches a month.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The term kata juta,
What does that mean?
which I'm based on what I'm seeing here, I believe that's a location somewhere.
I guess less. I don't know. I've never even heard of that.
Good, I like that. Maybe he's going to get a big fat zero here. Lower is the answer. Of course it's lower because he's never heard of it. Only 8,000 searches a month.
I'm a mind link with the rest of the planet.
Okay, so Kata Juta only has 8,000
Yeah.
searches a month. Okay, the company HSBC, higher company is.
Lower.
We're going with lower.
I lost.
And I'm not sure what this company is. I'd like to know because it is 9.1 million
Oh, Jesus.
searches a month.
I thought it was gonna be a trick question.
HSBC. Obviously, we're going to have to do a little bit of research on that. Okay, so you scored 1 there. So now it is 6-0, and hopefully,
so stupid.
it's about time for, as the Heels do in the late part of the game, make a comeback.
Oh yeah. I don't watch. It's not March yet.
Right?
I don't know anything about that.
He's only a tournament guy.
All right, round 2. It's 6-0. Josh's lead.
That
We
doesn't feel
have
good.
kite surfing at 74,000 average monthly searches versus Fight Club. Higher or lower?
Oh, way higher.
64,700. Wait, no. 673,000. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. It moved on me. All right, at Fight Club at 673,000 monthly views
I'm on the board.
versus Blood Diamond. Ooh, that's tough.
I'm gonna,
400,000 less.
all right.
All right, Blood Diamond at 201,000 average monthly searches versus Vagina.
Oh, that's got to be in the
High
millions.
or lower?
I'm going higher.
1.5 million
I knew it was in the millions.
searches. All right, versus Singapore Airlines. Higher or lower?
Worldwide, I'm going to say it's higher.
Higher. 1.83 million.
Yes.
If I'm saying that right, I don't even know. All right,
I'm getting hammered here, okay?
you had to beat
A zero, right? Okay. Putin at 1 million, okay? Versus the search term, all
At $1 million? All max.
We're going with higher. Oh, that's kind of surprising for me.
I lost.
I get him to do a cheer.
I just gotta say, rise up. I guess.
Rise up, baby.
That's all they talk
That's
about.
because I rose up.
Yeah, it did.
I did.
I'm so
hey, that was
butthurt.
kind of fun.
Yeah, I legitimately was like, my butthole's puckering.
Right? We may actually have to play that game again at some
Yeah, we'll
point.
bring
That's
it
cool.
back. We'll bring
I like
it back.
Hey, if you guys want to check out that game, it's called Higher or Lower. It's an app on your iPhone, and I'm pretty sure it's available on Android as well. Again, I ran across that. I thought it was a super fun game. You can shoot for records and stuff like that. But like I said, the average is about 3 people answering correctly. It kind of gives you an indication of where you are and with your thumb or on the pulse of things that are out there. But obviously, my thumb and my pulse are in a better spot than Josh is.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little butthurt right now.
Right? That's the goal.
Yeah, I know.
Wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen.